I'm Jason Thompson. This is the weekly Jasonisms. And this is one thing we're talking about this week is basically D&I programs basically do two things. You could probably argue three. Basically, you're recruiting, you're retaining, or thought leadership. But the two major ones are recruitment and retention. And that's pretty much all you do. And everything falls under that. I always get a lot of pushback on this. But if you think about it, with diversity, people are always like, well, the organization needs to be more diverse. That's recruitment, right? Or we need to retain people. So it's recruitment. And how do we retain people? Well, who gets promoted? How long do they stay? So almost everything you do kind of falls under that. And the reason this is helpful is by using that framing, what it hopefully can help you do is decide what you can and cannot do. Because in many times what happens is, and this is somewhat related to the last session where it was unrealistic expectations, is people want you to fix everything. If you can begin narrowing down what you're going to do, like, you know what, we're really going to focus on recruitment. It's not that that other idea isn't good. It's that I have limited resources, right? And we know we have a lot of turnover in marketing, or we're growing our marketing department. That means that's a recruitment effort. So you can focus, like, you know, we just launched a new marketing department. It's going to have 40 people or whatever it might be. Then you can go, great. I'm really going to, for them, focus on recruitment and make sure who's in that pool is diverse. Then you might go over to the accounting department. Go, the accounting's been here since the day we started. They have 8 employees and very low turnover. So there, that's not where you want to spend the most of your time, but it might be that no one's getting promoted in that department. So then it's like, okay, this is a different initiative, but it's retention, right? Who gets promoted is retention. How long they stay, that's retention. Almost everything you do in some ways falls under that. The other space I sometimes talk about is thought leadership, but a lot of times thought leadership is done. Why? Because we're trying to recruit more employees, right? We want to raise our visibility in the community so that people see us as a viable option to apply for. That's a recruitment effort. And I found almost everything you do, if you look at your annual policies, if you're looking at, are our health benefits equitable, regardless of gender, you would be doing that because you want to retain good employees, and it looks good in recruitment. If somebody asks you, what kind of benefits do you have, right? That it still falls under that. And I think just that by simplifying that can help, because the second piece of that, right? I know everything is recruitment and retention. Then you really got to start prioritizing under that, because you can't do everything, right? And that's how this is pretty much the one Jasonism that's directly connected to the last Jasonism, is that if we're going to focus on recruitment, stop trying to boil the ocean, right? Don't set unrealistic expectations. Or, as a story I started with, have a manager who says, we have to be 30% diverse, right? The number was unachievable. But what it did allow me to do is, okay, what's the best use of my time? And actually, when I started looking at it, what we found was that it's literally no people of color were being promoted at the director level and above. So now we had a strategy. I was like, you know what? We're not going to boil the ocean. But it's clear we were hiring probably 4 or 5 directors a year. And some years we wouldn't even hire one person of color, and sometimes only one woman. So just by implementing some initiatives there, we were able to increase the diversity, which is what we wanted. It's still the same outcome, but it was so much more pointed. It was effective. We got outcomes. It was measurable. And I could say no to other things, like, let's not get ourselves overwhelmed with every single recruitment hire, because I don't have bandwidth for that. But I knew we wanted more diversity in the leadership team. I knew we were having some hiring opportunities there. And by just that simple kind of practice of thinking about, what do we do? Recruit and retain. What is the outcome we want? Don't get overwhelmed. Don't set these unrealistic expectations. We could actually make change. And that's the goal. So hopefully this has been helpful to you today. But, simple thing to remember, that what D&I programs do: recruit and retain.